A few years in the making. Here is my finished Hoge 900 Streamliner. This thing took me a little over 2 years to finally get all done. I got it in a bunch of various pieces and parts. The locomotive came without the little headlight cover. I ended up making a new headlight based on some pictures I had seen. The whole front end was crushed in. The front is actually made out of stamped brass, so it's pretty easy to straighten out. The rest of the train is made out of stamped steel. I did not have the motor, but found a motor in a big box of parts I had, and it's pretty recognizable. There's a tab on either end of the locomotive that attaches to the blue frame. I found passenger cars in really bad shape. The chrome was completely just flaking off when you touch them. So the cars got taken apart. There's 4 tabs on either side. I resprayed all the frames blue, sprayed what was chrome a nice shiny silver, tried some chrome spray paints. I couldn't find anything that worked, and couldn't find a shop around me that would replate them. Hoge streamlined vestibules are very hard to find. They actually hold the train together. So there's a little tab that comes down that sits on either side of the wheel, and one pin that comes down that joins the cars together. So I found a set of vestibules. They were blue. So when I repainted everything, I did a nice blue frame, nice blue vestibules, and my tail car had a blue end with this cool little Hoge plate on the back. So that came off too. I repainted all the letters. After looking at my originals, there was like real thin blue around where it's stamped. And it took a lot of trial and error. I originally thought they just had somebody with a very steady hand work on them. But what they ended up doing, I think, was tipping them on their side, watering the paint down. I used a water-based blue, tipped it on its side, and then just literally filled the press in. And in some places, when you get close, you can still see a little bit through the blue, which is how the original cars looked. So I just used a real thin blue and took a couple of coats, but repainted the Hoge Streamline. All the wheels got cleaned up a little bit. New light on the front. I need to get a bulb that's not a 14 volt, because this one is a little dim unless you crank the power, and if you crank the power, it goes flying off the tracks. So here it is, 2 years later, a restored Hoge Streamline 900. Runs really, really nice. Very pretty to look at. A lot of work. The motor had a bad pinion gear. I ended up using a Lionel pinion gear. It worked just fine. It said some little bit of body work, a lot of paint, a lot of time and patience to get everything to be as precise as it was. I went with a little bit lighter of a blue than Hoge used. They used more of a royal. I kind of liked this bright blue to pop out a little bit. And like I said, I didn't replate it. I just used a very nice silver spray, and after sprayed it, let it sit a couple of months so that it would be nice and cured. And overall, I think it came out really, really nice. Runs really, really well. It only runs one direction. It was not a reversible motor. I could probably add something to make it reverse, but we're kind of keeping it right now the way Hoge built it. So nice little streamliner.